Hello everybody, my name is Veladam01 and welcome back to the next episode of City Skylines East of the Curtain, my former Eastern Bloc inspired city building series. Do you remember this road, this bridge that is connecting up the island that was inspired by the Chapel Island in Budapest that I built a long time ago, maybe in episode 9? And do you remember the road that is ending with this big curve that turns towards the populated area right after it reaches the island? And can you also notice that on the other side of the other river branch, the road system I have built for the previous episode for the big prefab housing expansion, it just ends there with a corner out in the nowhere? Well, in this episode I'm going to connect up these roads up to each other by building a new bridge over the other branch of the river and a new junction on the Chapel Island. So, let's do it. So first you can see that I started with removing the water as it was kinda in the way during the construction and the measurements. And also I thought that it will get rid of the annoying rays of the roads. Turns out nope. First I should have started the simulation to make the water disappear and make the roads believe they are on flat terrain to keep them flat. But you can see that the water was actually there according to the simulation, so it just forced to raise the road or lower the road like the original terrain was. Then I did some update to the road network on both sides of the river branch. On the island side I just removed the big road curve as it would be replaced by a new junction, and on the mainland side I just extended and prepared the road network for the new bridge, for example with an access from the other main road that is crossing under the bridge, and also did a further expansion, yet they are still ending in the middle of nowhere. Then I marked out where the new position of the river would be and where the new bridge would cross it, and curve it up to the original road that was originally leading to the island. Here, where the original main road of the island meets the new bridge, I just decided to build a new junction between them with an overpass for the traffic that continues straight on the bridge, so they won't be held up by traffic lights and unnecessary crossroads. The new junction is heavily based on this real-life location in Budapest, Hungary, which is called Árpád híd, or by its new name Gönc Árpád Városközpont. This type of intersection is called single point urban intersection, by the way, as all the roads that turn left meet in a single node right under the overpass, and for turning right you will see that I will use a different design. But the original intersection is a little bit more complicated that I will build here, as it is a 4-level intersection because it has the overpass, then it has the ground level with trams and cars and other road traffic, then it has an underpass for the pedestrians with a metro station built inside that can be accessed through the underpass. But to cross the intersection you have to actually go down one more level because fuck you, the metro station somehow ended up being in the same level as the underpass, and you have to cross under the metro tunnels themselves in a passage with a stair leading down on one side, then another stair coming up on the other side. But in the game I won't build this as complicated as the real life one, as I will keep it just 2 levels, and there also won't be trams and metro here but just buses and trolleybuses, so also no underpass will be necessary, and the Sims could just cross the junction at crosswalks on the surface. But why did I build the intersection and the road like this? At first, because cars don't have to go down then up again if they come from the bridge and want to continue straight on the other side, but they can just stay at level on the overpass instead. And second, it is a more convenient and alternative bypass road avoiding the busy downtown, as this is just basically an urban highway that you could see in the video of Oculus in his Altengrad series. But it is kind of a difference since it goes on the outskirts, mostly through unbuilt areas, so there wasn't a need to take down already existing buildings as there were none in the way, but yet it is still just kind of a partial urban highway, as you would see later in the video that in some parts it just goes through residential areas as a main road, making it a good example of half done job, looking like what the fuck, because just fuck you residents who live there. So for the overpass I used the vanilla overpass project assets downloaded from the workshop, It is a really nice asset pack made by Allegro. If you look at them on the workshop, you might think that they are actually not easy to use, but I didn't use them as they were originally intended, so that made this a little bit more easy. And you could have noticed that I mentioned trolleybuses, and I also built the new bridge using road with trolleybus wires, and that is intentional because if you could remember, I built the main roads in the prefab estate area with trolleybuses, so I was just like, why not build the new bridge also with trolleybus? Then I just basically went crazy, and as you see, I just upgraded the road all the way to the train station in the middle of these suburbs, and I actually never thought that there will be a trolleybus line running in this area of the city. And now here I am decorating and doing some traffic management at the intersection. First, I did some intersection markings with the IMT mode to make the intersection a little bit more nice. Like the continuous middle line and the lane stripes at the right turn roads to indicate and detail that here you can only turn right. If you would like to turn left, you should have taken the other lanes, or if you come from the industrial area or the island area, just line up in the middle lane to the traffic lights and wait your turns. You can see that I made these big triangle grass planters on the traffic islands. Later these will also receive some vegetations, but the priority was to make some kind of concept about what will go where first. Then I also did some TMP magic to make the vehicles comply with what the road markings tell them to do. And you will see that here under the overpass at the main node I made it kind of bit complicated with a timed traffic light with cycle for each direction possible at the node. However, it was also required for buses and trolleybuses to be able to go straight, as they cannot use the overpass for it, because there would be a stop for them at the intersection, and the overpass does not allow transit stops on itself by its design. But I also didn't want other vehicles to go straight, as there is the overpass for it, so I ended up making a separate lane just for the public transport with its own cycle at the time traffic lights for go straight. Then I also did the same TMP and IMT magic here at the on and off ramps of the overpass, trying to disable the left turns or turnarounds, and I also disabled the pedestrian crosswalks as the overpass is strictly for cars and making it kind of a car-favored infrastructure. And now we are in the real detailing session. For a moment you could see me on the time-lapse struggling with the traffic management and the timed traffic lights, because whenever I upgraded a road I had to redo everything all again. And finally I planted some vegetation into these planters and also next to the overpass, but instead of flowers and nice well-kept foliage I decided to use these wild clusters of vegetation to make this area a little bit more rundown. Because for real, we are not in Dubai and it is just a road intersection somewhere in Eastern or Central Europe. What did you expect it? But anyway, I finally made a trolleybus line that I talked about in this episode earlier, that would run from the downtown through a newly built prefab housing estate, where it takes a left turn onto the new bridge and finally just follows the road to the train station near these suburbs where I put the terminal stop of the line right now on the video. And at the end of the time-lapse I also tried to make an overpass usable on this new road with some pedestrian stair access and tried to decorate it with some grey flame rock assets. So here is the ending cinematic of what I have built in this episode. Hope you liked it. If you want to see screenshots about my city, follow me on Twitter at Veladam01. See you later in the next episode. I was Veladam01. Take care and goodbye.